Hey there, Chelsea fans. Welcome to the London is Blue YouTube channel. This is a clip from our Newcastle match review. The full podcast, about an hour long, is on any podcast player you want. Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere you get it. Go check us out. We'd love it if you subscribe to us there. But we did want to share a clip of this match. So if you like it, please like the video. If you want, we subscribe. We do videos almost daily. And maybe throw a comment if you agree or disagree with what we had to say about this one. But hey, Chelsea are on the up and up. All right. We got Ren on Tuesday. We're going to be back. We post content all the time. Check us out on social, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and subscribe to the podcast. All right, Chelsea fans, I hope you enjoy it. Let's go ahead and move on to the fact that some people say defense wins championships. It's kind of a recurring theme. Another clean sheet, right? They did hit the woodwork. They did hit the frame. But at the end of the day, Mendy just kind of hung out. But what Mendy has going for him is that shutout statistic. I mean, Nick, it's not easy for a goalkeeper to stand there and be bored most of the match, but then have to jump out a couple of times that he did and jump into action. But the fact that he now has 7 clean sheets and 9 appearances for Chelsea in all competitions, this would be his 4th in 5 Premier League games, thanks to Opta Joe. I don't know if it's a lot of it is presence of a goalkeeper, and it helps the rest of the team, because I don't think he really had to make too many saves. He only had 1 shot on goal in 90 minutes. And I think that hit the framework and didn't go in. So he might, or no,
the shot on frame doesn't count.
He got big.
It was. Anyways, because I don't think if he saves it, if it's just going out of bounds, it counts. Anyways, I digress. Overall, he didn't have much to do, but him being there is doing a lot for the team right now.
Yeah. It's like a job where they're like, man, I don't care what you do during the day, but as long as you get your work done, that's all that matters. You know, it's one of those jobs. And he's just like, yeah, okay, I'm just here. I'm just doing it. There was not a whole lot for him to do yesterday. Admittedly, Newcastle did not bring a whole lot to the game offensively. Of course, they hit the woodwork. Of course, there was the odd chance here or there. Of course, they had corners that Mendy had to go defend and catch easily. But, you know, this was a far easier game for him than Sheffield was. You know, like this was... You kind of felt after 1-0, you're like, okay, but we should have 5. That's the only thing I'm upset about is we don't have 5. Like, he had 8 shots total, and if you look at the XG map, they're just kind of it's like peppered across the entire 18-yard box. I mean, like this was kind of PUD stuff. But to your point, there is no sense where we probably had this with Kepa last year that Murphy's Law is going to take over and everything that can go wrong will go wrong for Chelsea defensively. And so I think that like part of that is, Dan, just like the mentality that like we've held clean sheets now. We're doing it regularly. It's not a fluke anymore when you do it this much. And teams mentality changes when they play against us now. Whereas last year they're like, hey, we're good for 3 or 4 today, boys. Let's go get it, you know?
It's definitely a sense of calm and serenity. Chelsea probably has missed the mark on not getting a calm or a headspace, sponsorship that they were able to tie in with Mendy being between the sticks, or a clean sheet brought to you by Calm and Chelsea, because that's what we're offering this season for the defense, the 4 defenders, in front, our midfield, and kind of in Conte, knowing that there is that peace of mind from someone who is going to rise to the occasion, to come out and claim the cross, to do everything that is required of them. And again, our perception of what we wanted to see had maybe altered a little bit from last season. Now the challenge is going to be on shots that should be stoppable when we do go into a game like Spurs next weekend, when we most likely will face well more than 8 shots, well more than 1 shot on target. How will he stand up? How will he do against much better strike force? And so I think he also has to feel really good, though, about the defenders in front of him continue to elevate their game. About Reece James continuing to grow. I mean, he had St. Maximin in his pocket. He maybe got burned once, in the entirety of the match, but that was the only attacking threat that side had, and Reece basically snuffed him out on every single opportunity. Chilwell was getting very far forward, placing himself into the box. Rudiger comes back after, actually, I think a decent-ish, not entirely, but, getting a good amount of minutes at least with Germany to put himself back in contention with the side. And Zuma, Brandon, who just continues to, I think, level up his performances, particularly in the absence of Silva, was great day out.
Zuma, it was very involved in this one. Kind of to your point, I think he realized that when Silva's not there, he does need to step into that leadership role, which is great because obviously Rudiger, you could say, is more experienced and established, before this season. But he has grown into this role, and it's been fantastic. Squawka had him at 119 touches, 102 successful passes. That's so many passes. 96% pass accuracy, 49 passes in the opposition's half. He's a center back. What you doing up there, boss? 14 total duels contested, so he's throwing his body everywhere. 12 total aerial duels, 6 clearances, 4 recoveries, 1 block, 1 foul, 1 rock solid at the back. He's just so involved. I know we always said he's one world-class defender away from being great. I think he's trying to show that he can be great without said world-class defender, but he'd gladly take one next to him because it just makes his job easier. I think that, he's such a nice guy too, so it's easy to root for him and like him. But if you get down to just like the nitty-gritty of his performances, if you're kind of like Lampard and his staff, Nick, I mean, if Zuma is above the 80% mark in your ultimate team, you're putting him in. You're just like, if you've got enough in the tank to play, you are playing.
He's a guy that, like, when I do the eye test, he's easy to spot. He's not only is he big and physical, but his contributions are in the spotlight more often than not, right? Like, he's either making an incredible head of defense or he's doing 50 step overs against Ajax last year. He's just very noticeable.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, and it's crucial moments that he's noticeable, right? Like, him throwing his body around yesterday is pretty standard. Now, 14 total duels contested is a lot. It's a lot. But to me, he just has continued to pass said eye test this year. He seems more in control. He seems like he's not as stretched as maybe we were at times last year, for obvious reasons. That's good. These are all good things. It's like you want to see a player grow and evolve and feel more confident in their abilities. And I'm sure the addition of Thiago Silva and Mendy and all these other pieces are helping a tremendous amount. But it's not like his performances have dropped as they've come into the team. He's gotten better. And where at times last year, you're like, oh man, some of the mistakes were noticeable too. This is not the case right now.
I think he's had a couple like clumsy challenges in the past too that have led to penalties. I don't seem worried with him one-on-one defending in the box. He just, to your kind of point, seems much more calm, collected. It comes with experience. He knows when to dive, when not to dive in. And it's been great. I think it was weird. Grant DeSmit, who we had on the podcast last season, he said the last 6 starts of Zuma and Rudiger together in a back 4. 2-0 Liverpool, clean sheet. 4-0 Everton, clean sheet. 1-0 Leicester, clean sheet. 1-0 Norwich, clean sheet. 4-0 Krasnodar, clean sheet. 2-0 Newcastle, clean sheet. Now, obviously, this goes back to last season. I don't like. To me, it's not about Zuma and Rudiger being the partnership. It comes back to Zuma. It just seems like you can pick Zuma plus, and you're probably gonna have a good statistical record. Last season was Zuma and Fick. All right, this season is probably Also really good with him and Silva, right? When we went on like the 5-6 match clean sheet run. It always comes back to at least this season, Zuma, partially because he's always available, and partially because he's doing a good job. And I think it's just good to point that out and say, because I think, you know, if you had to make a change in the back line, you're like, well, he's probably our most sellable asset. And now you're like, there's no chance. Give him the contract extension. Like, lock him down.